It's horror win from cold case. Finally, the mystery of missing people has been solved. Here are 10 mysteries that have been solved. California homes where they found their beloved family. Dogs were left out in the cold. Food was left half on the counter. They were prepared, but they didn't go anywhere. How does one family disappear? Joseph was well known and managed a successful water fountain business. An associate. Summer was a real estate agent, it seemed. It seemed like they would return any minute. After a few weeks, family members and friends had not heard anything from them. Family members expressed concern. There was no indication of any struggle at the shortly thereafter or forced entry. The vehicle of McStay's was found. The vehicle was found abandoned close to the border with Mexico. Investigators suspect this. They had deliberately fled the country. But why did they have $100,000? They had $1,100,000. It hadn't. A failed international search to locate the missing family. For the next, it took 3 years and 9 months to complete. The mystery was especially intriguing to Joseph. Mother, there was no way that the family could leave and take the grandchildren. Never call. One day, a dirt biker discovered a human. A skeleton was found in the desert. Authorities found the remains of all 4 family members were killed in a tragic accident, beaten to death, as well as a sledgehammer, which was also buried with him. Charles Merritt or Chase Merritt were there. Joseph McStay was the business partner of the last known person to have witnessed the murders. Numerous minor signs pointed to him as a possible suspect. He even wrote a book about him. These were some of the theories that led to that summer poisoning her husband. He spoke of Joseph in past tense, even though nobody knew for certain that he was there. He was the most prolific in criminalizing, but he was dead. The discovery of his DNA in the family car. His cell phone was sending signals close by. The family's final resting place. The crime was committed by Merritt, who was sentenced to death. He was sentenced last year to death. He continues to claim his innocence in. His conviction was challenged by prosecutors. Defend his motives as greed. He had been taking money from his family Joseph confronted. And somehow, Merritt was able. Entire family. Disappear 9. Craig Williamson. In a mysterious missing person case. The long-running series featured this mysteries television series. Angela Reinhardt was the last to hear from her. Craig Williamson is Craig's husband. On August 30, 1993, while fishing. Trip to Colorado Springs, Williamson. Reinhardt was called at the couple's from his hotel room. He walked to Wisconsin. He arrived at his hotel room around 9:30 p.m. and everything was fine. It seemed that he had disappeared from the face of the planet. Reinhardt was naturally concerned about the future. Her husband was traveling with her after he had suffered a concussion a few weeks before. Williamson did not return home the next day. As planned, Reinhardt's credit card were discovered 675 miles south central of Colorado Springs. The man rented a car in El Paso, Texas. He was found in Juarez, Mexico. 2 weeks later, there were no signs of foul play as the authorities tried to track them down. Williamson Reinhardt started her own investigation. Her husband was the first to visit the hotel. Stayed in Colorado Springs. It was discovered that Williamson had lost his. Without any evidence, Williamson had left his luggage. He believed that he had lost his way. Perhaps he was feeling the effects of recent concussion and perhaps had been hurt. Williamson lived in Key West, Florida, July 1995, when he saw himself on an Unsolved Mysteries run. Imagine he called the show. He explained that he had amnesia. After being mugged in the Colorado Springs, he didn't remember much. The man claimed to have been alive from the attack. The man claims to have awoken at the hospital in his name. Ron then wandered aimlessly through he stayed in the until he found work as a diver in the Key West. Reinhardt and Williamson were reunited, but his memory of the couple allegedly failed to return, and that couple divorced. Authorities were suspicious of to get his freedom. A man made his disappearance. He freed himself from his debts and others obligations as a business owner. Start fresh. Please let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Number 8. David Lee Niles, 72 years old. Michigan man named David Lee Niles. Soon after being diagnosed with, while suffering from depression. After meeting him, he abruptly left the bar. He was with a friend from his family. He remained missing for almost a decade. There were no clues as to his whereabouts. Niles' family had almost given up on him. 2011. They assumed the worst. Published an obituary. Online. Despite nobody being found in 2015, a worker called Brian Houseman is now in a cherry picker decorating an enormous tree. Outdoor Christmas tree. A sunken car was found in a nearby lake, about a mile from Niles. Last seen. After double-checking that the car is present, use Google Maps police to retrieve the vehicle. A wrecking crew was hired. The vehicle was submerged, and it was discovered. There were bones of human remains found in the front seat. They were tentatively identified as Niles with his wallet and ID. After 10 years, Niles seems to have taken his own life. His own death was not foul play. It was suspected. However, the cause of his death is not yet known. Undetermined. Number 7. Margaret Freshwater. Margaret Freshwater, a Columbus, Ohio teenager, was indicted for first-degree murder in 1970. She was only 18 at the time of the crime. She was just 18 when the crime occurred. She went on a trip to 3 states. She was robbed and killed while on the 3-state. She was escorted by an unarmed guard. She scaled a fence to flee Tennessee State Prison for women. Nobody knew she was there. For the next, in 2002, someone was recognized after 32 years. Freshwater is their neighbor. Tanya McCarter is a seemingly inconspicuous woman, mother of 3. She resides in Columbus, Ohio, just 12 miles from her childhood home. She was already married to 4 children and 7 grandchildren. The Freshwater was returned to them. She escaped from a Tennessee state prison. At the age of 63, she was forced to confess